E. Cummings wrote, "For whatever we lose, like a you or a me, it's always ourselves we find in the sea." And we do. We find ourselves in the cleansing waves, the soothing depths, and the sublime ecosystem. We find ourselves in the nets trawling the ocean floor, crushing everything in its path, and in the overfishing leading to the inevitable destruction of ecosystems. Human activity has taken a heavy toll on the oceans and their inhabitants, and as a result we are facing severe threats to the overall balance of our ecosystem and to the social and economic stability of those who rely on the ocean as a valuable resource. The world's surface is 71% oceans. Although they divide us as continents, they join us as a globe. The ocean's problems are our problems, and the issues affecting their well-being are global issues. We know less about the ocean than we do about space. It is estimated that somewhere between 500,000 and 5 million species have not even been discovered yet. In reality, this means we are murdering whole species without knowing their role or worth in the ecosystem, and therefore without guilt or consequence. All ecosystems flatter because they are all intertwined. If one collapses, it will cause damage to others, creating a very real risk of a domino effect. We are in terrible danger of disrupting the natural state of these marine ecosystems through two main techniques: overfishing and bottom trawling. These techniques are also taking their toll on dry land, both socially and economically.
Overfishing is a very real threat. It occurs when the rate of fish being caught outweighs the rate they can reproduce. The fish stocks are dramatically lower than they were 50 years ago. Fishing fleets are 2 to 3 times larger than they need to be, and on a global scale we have enough fish to provide for 4 Earth-like planets. This is due to the unregulated industrial methods used. Large-scale vessels have a huge capacity, sending out nets the size of 4 football fields. It is immediately obvious the huge problem that will arise from this outrageously extravagant work. The damage to the ecosystems is undeniable. This exhaustion of whole species would completely destabilize the food chain. As horrible as this wide-scale slaughter is, it is not the be-all and end-all. The enormous nets do predictably seize animals that are not the target catch. Marine mammals, seabirds, sharks, and non-commercially viable fish are trapped too. By the time they are found and discarded back into the ocean, their chances of survival are minimal. This is known as bycatch and discard, which takes the damage of marine ecosystems to a whole new and completely unacceptable level by pointlessly killing animals purely because of human greed and carelessness.
Bottom trawling is a technique of overfishing that has particularly horrific consequences to the delicate ecosystems of the sea. Deep beneath the ocean, mountain-like formations protrude from the ocean floor. These are called seamounts. They are home to some of the most abundant areas of biodiversity in the ocean. Sadly, this knowledge is famous among the commercial fishing industry, and therefore these unique ecosystems and their inhabitants are in great danger. To capture the species that live in these areas, huge nets with large metal plates are dropped into the ocean and dragged along the ocean floor. They demolish everything in their path, destroying beautiful and fragile ecosystems that may take decades to centuries to recover, if they ever do. Countless species may be eliminated before we even learn about many of these ecosystems, and because we don't know a huge amount about this environment, we do not have a clear idea of what we are losing. However, the implications of overfishing do not end here. 500 million people rely on the constant supply of fish in the ocean to support themselves. The industrial nature of the large vessels leave no room for smaller fishing boats, and once they reach the shore, the fishermen who stick to quotas are at a strong disadvantage. The industrial vessels can relocate to wherever the best source of fish is. However, the towns and regions left behind can deteriorate as the most prominent economic driver has been exhausted. Although these ecosystems and the economy that relies on them are left in disarray, it is not too late to act and to fix this situation. These monstrosities have a twin root of greed and consumption. We as humans have left a footprint that now exceeds the world's ability to regenerate by approximately 25%. Immediate action is required. The UN has formed several conventions to govern the use of our seas and oceans. The 1982 Law of the Sea Convention was perhaps the most pivotal, creating an international law to ensure the peaceful and resourceful utilisation of our seas. The Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission focuses on the management of marine research and better managing ocean and coastal areas. The International Maritime Organization is responsible for several treaties which focus on preventing the pollution of oceans, such as the 1973 International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships and the 1954 International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution of the Sea by Oil. All of these laws and conventions are essential in maintaining harmony and regulation over the vast oceans. However, they are not developing at a rate to include the prevention and rehabilitation of the environmental decay in our oceans. In fact, they do not address many of the primary causes of destruction facing oceans today. Overfishing and bottom trawling are destructive techniques that require firm regulation and severe consequences. The Magnuson-Stevens Act of 1996 touches on overfishing among other things such as conservation and reducing bycatch. It is, however, a US federal waters policy. A new international convention focusing specifically on overfishing, bottom trawling, and bycatch needs to be formed. This convention will need to address the following issues. A list of environmentally friendly fishing techniques, eliminating bottom trawls and industrial-sized nets, and allowing reasonable-sized nets, which will also permit the quick locating of unwanted catch and therefore a higher living rate after their release. The allocation of protected areas, which will include unexplored environments, the spawning and nesting grounds of marine life, delicate sea floor, coral, and ecosystems undergoing recovery. Strict quota, where a scientifically researched ideal and safe number of fish caught and landed by a fishery is constantly reassessed. And the tracking and monitoring of vessels to make sure they abide by these regulations. All states will be strongly urged to sign this convention and apply it. Failure to comply with these regulations will result in varying degrees of severity, such as fines, and public campaigns to dissuade the purchase of their products. When we look to the sea, we want to find ourselves, in the pristine waters and booming ecosystems. We want to be proud of our oceans and what we have done to save them. The point of no return has not yet been reached, and we still have hope that one day our predecessors can frolic and work with the sea in a safe and respectful manner. This convention is a leap in the right direction.
My hips they lie, 'cause in reality, I'm shy, but when I trip on my feet.